Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me, Rob. Let's talk about some Go sports stuff.
Oh, we got all kinds of fun stuff. You like the shirt? This is nice. And it says, do the thing, win the points.
Yes.
That's nice. It's nice. So, guys, we got a lot of news to go over here. We gotta give a little negative Nancy Debbie Downer award to some people online that are just spewing all kinds of crazy stuff. We got interesting news on Darren Waller. It's crazy. We're talking about so many things I thought we were done with. The other day, we talked about Shedeur Sanders. Then we talked about OBJ. Now, Darren Waller comes out of the woodworks. Let me talk about the Giants. So we got to talk about that a little bit. Isaiah Simmons, talking about people coming out of the woodworks. Got to talk about him a little bit there as well. Gave some quotes about his time with the Giants. Also, apparently, the practice schedule literally got changed to suit Russell Wilson. Interesting, good, bad, we'll go over. Got a recommendation here for a big year by a second-year player. Also, we thought it'd be fun to just throw into ChatGPT what will happen to the Giants in 2025. We got what ChatGPT says the record is going to be, along with the stats of the stars of the season. So let's get right into it, guys. With, of course, very first thing we got to talk about here is Jaxson Dart. Because, guys, listen, I'm not going to blame anybody specific on this. But we got to talk about this whole Jaxson Dart struggles at camp. And Jaxson Dart did this at camp. And Jaxson Dart did that at camp. Listen, there's a lot of people. And listen, I'm going to call us out even in this. We're fans, guys. We're not football coaches. We're not football players. We're fans who eat, sleep, breathe the Giants. We are fans who have I want to overtune our horn here, but I think a above average knowledge level of football overall is probably the best way to put it without sounding like a conceited jerk. Well, also, again, being obsessed with the Giants, so we know like 99% of what's going on publicly with the Giants. When I say publicly, behind closed doors, you never know what's behind closed doors until you open the door. And we don't have that key. So there's a lot of people out there now that are talking heads now on, content creators that just say all kinds of crazy crap to get views, guys. And there's a lot of them right now doing that with Jaxson Dart. Talking all kinds of trash about how he's a disappointment. It's time to hit the panic button. He had a horrible OTA. I'm already seeing the post, guys. And we warned you guys in this when we first drafted Jaxson Dart about the plan for him and how people are going to overblow every single thing that happens here with this kid. It's already happening. We haven't even gotten to a preseason game yet. It's already happening. Listen, congratulations, guys. Record timing to start doing this. Wow. OTAs. That's where we're at. I guess they gave him the grace of the rookie minicamp. Seriously, it's ridiculous. We don't know what the point of the OTAs were. And what I mean by that is obviously we know the point is to practice and blah, blah, blah. But there's always a hidden agenda. There's always things you're working on specifically at these practices. We don't know what they were. Unless you're on the Giants coaching staff, you cannot sit there and say this was a disappointment or a good time for him at camp. And that's, again, positive or negative. You have no way of knowing. Again, I've said this before, going back to 2022. But Daniel Jones had one of the worst OTAs in the history of OTAs, basically, that year.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Daniel Jones, again, not a good quarterback, not what we're setting the bar. But follow me. I'm going somewhere, I promise.
Oh.
Horrible in the OTAs. The point where people are going, oh, my God, the Giants just screwed a quarterback, which they were kind of right on. But Daniel Jones goes on to have what you could call, besides his rookie year, easily his best season of football ever. And we find out later on that it's because of the fact that the Giants literally were giving the defense, the schemes and all. You 1 second here. I'm plugging my computer, and I thought I did that earlier.
Whoopsie
Apparently
daisy.
I did not. Don't want to lose that on you guys. But
Yeah.
it's what happens, I guess, for doing the work on the show on the couch. But it turned out that Brian Daboll was literally giving the play calls to Luke Martindale, who, of course, then was our defensive coordinator. Like, that's how things were going down. So we didn't have that knowledge then. You think that hurt Daniel Jones and made him look bad? Of course it did. They were trying to find out. They even said, we were trying to find out what he was made of. We were trying to find out what kind of personality we had, what kind of leader we had. We have no goddamn clue what was going on in OTAs. So I hate when guys do this. Hate it. It's ridiculous. Like, am I crazy, Rob? Or like,
No, this is absolutely bonkers. We do this every year. This is what almost every fandom in the NFL does when they see like a new quarterback come in or a new player. Hit the panic button. Hit the panic button. They had a bad practice.
oh no.
Guess what? In OTAs, not every time is about making the best play for that one player that you're looking to make the best play. Sometimes it's about seeing his strengths and his weaknesses. So this way you know how to work it on the field during the regular season. And not put him in that situation where you might go, oh, maybe having him throw slants while he's running the opposite direction of the slant isn't his thing, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe he's not the best off his back pedal.
Yeah. And some of it is, like I said, it's fundamental games. They play them. We know this. They've done it. So why are people jumping the gun? Now, I'll say this. And this is why I say about the differences between people who are content creators that are just out there for clicks and legitimate media. And again, I feel like I've tooted this man horn too many times here, but I'm going to do it again. Jordan Raanan is a guy, because of the fact he works for ESPN, he is not beholden to the Giants in any way, shape, or form. Like a lot of the beat writers are out there that are afraid to say things negative and get, losing any kind of access. Jordan Raanan doesn't care. He works for ESPN. We do boot ESPN from your building. That's a good idea. That would really help ratings. He said point blank, he looked good. He said, it didn't go into craziness. He said he looked good. He wasn't going to go any kind of superlative bad or good at that point. But he just said he looked good overall. So when you got, I almost said that word I'm going to regret there. When you got ill-informed clickbait people telling you things that they don't even know what the hell they're talking about, take note of who those people are and ignore them, or just call them out. Just call them out, because we don't know. And to do that and to upset a fan base and to potentially turn a fan base, because let's be honest, we turn quickly, guys, to potentially start turning a fan base against the quarterback who hasn't even thrown a goddamn snap for a team yet, is absolutely ridiculous. And it's malpractice, if there is such a thing, for content creators. Like, you can do things without going crazy, without saying things that aren't true, without, doing shock value only kind of stuff there. We do it 3 times a week, guys. And listen, if anybody thinks we're ever doing things clickbait, call out or fake things, call us out. Call us out point blank, because I'll tell you if something, because sometimes, like, I got called that one time for a title. I'll tell you guys that story. We got called that for a title one time. Now, I'll tell you point blank, what we do is upload our videos and AI creates the titles and the descriptions for us. It went a little crazy. It did. Owned up to it, fixed the title, and moved on. That kind of stuff will happen to everybody, especially when you do as many videos as we do a week. We produce a lot of days, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 days. So, plus the 3 to 4 live we do a week. So, stuff will happen when you help get AI help, so you actually have time to do things in your life. But I see people all the time doing fake articles, fake news things all the time. Jay's lots of videos.
Tons.
It's got to come to an end, because it's just annoying when I see this stuff, because it's like, produce content. Go for it. Produce a ton of content. Produce legit content. Don't just scare people. And to go after Jaxson Dart like this is just absolutely insane. So kudos to anybody who's not. And to anybody who is, enjoy the state bird of New Jersey. I can't do it because YouTube will get upset, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Here's a flock.
That one's for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our news here because, like I said, I had to kind of scold because I was seeing that, but we do got other news to give here. So, the question's asked: is Nabers the only exciting Giant? Now, this is being asked because of Fox Sports, who, listen, because Michael Strahan works for their Sunday, team and all. We get some Giants love there, but David Helman of Fox Sports said some not nice things. He said, "Whatever else happens, I'm incredibly confident Malik Nabers is about to be a superstar. His talent jumped off the screen on a dismal Giants team." He's kind of right in that part, but he says, "And the talent level around him is undeniably be better now. Truthfully, this could be a solid unit if the offensive line, particularly Andrew Thomas, manages to stay healthy. Darius Slayton is better than he gets credit for, and Tyrone Tracy had some exciting moments as a rookie. I also still believe in Brian Dable as a coach and play caller. But really, if you're looking for reasons to be excited as a Giant fan, it starts and ends with Nabers." Now, here's what it is that I didn't like. In this same article, he listed the best depth in the NFL. Guys, we literally got second to worst to just the Patriots. Second to worst. That's insanity. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting us to be top 5 or top 10. Maybe not even average, maybe like below average. I get it. I'm not trying to say that we're Super Bowl bound or playoff bound or anything crazy. Again, we try to keep it real. But a lot of what they talked about specifically was the offense. And
pretty impressive defense coming around this side.
I get that part. I'm even sticking with the offense here for a minute. Jameis Winston is probably one of the most competent backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Truly. Then you go and
he's probably the best in the league right now.
I don't want to say that without looking at the whole list, just because I don't want to speak out of turn here.
Maybe Minshew,
but he's in the top tier. I think it's safe to say. Then you go into running back. Besides having Tracy, who's got to be undeniably the starter right now, you got Motor. Devin Singletary's got a great track record in the league. You got Cam Scadaboo, who's an exciting rookie. You go to the receiver room. Besides Nabers and Wan'Dale Robinson, if you have to pick 2 as your starters per se, I noticed there's different offensive sets and all that kind of stuff. Ooh, my camera's going all crazy there. See that?
Yeah, I was about to say. You got the jersey motion going on.
You know what? And I did. Somehow I set my camera to whiteboard mode. I didn't know there was a whiteboard mode. It's literally looking for a whiteboard right now. I'm learning all these new tricks in this new camera. But you got on that side, you got besides Wan'Dale and Malik Nabers, you got Darius Slayton, who is a proven wide receiver in this league. You got Jalen Hyatt, who again hasn't done much yet, but he's got a college pedigree and people are looking towards him. So you could say not the best in the world. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to tote that is like this amazing group here, but you still got some depth when you got a guy who consistently puts 700 yards and he's probably your third best receiver. Then you go out to the offensive line. We've added to the offensive line. We added some swing tackles. Again, not great, but we added. So to me, to sit there and say the only one on offense that's exciting and we have the second worst depth in the NFL, when you're pinpointing the offense and these are things going on, I'm sorry, but that's not second worst. Again, not second best. I'm not trying to flip it.
Yeah,
but let's give us some credit. I just think it's absolutely insanity. But you mentioned the defense. I mean, the defense. You can tell the story of the defense. It's insanity. That defense is stacked, absolutely stacked.
Yeah. The front of the house is going to bring the house.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the warehouse.
Yeah. Try to find a more stacked, trying to find a more stacked defensive line than that. You know, look at the way this secondary is players added at that point there, and there's added depth because of that. You know, that's to me, like I said, it's insanity. And again, I don't want to blow it up to where we're considered great. Like the Giants aren't great. They're not.
Yeah, they have to prove it.
But let's not give them, oh, this is like the worst team in the entire league. Like that's just a little insanity to me.
Yeah, it's still unfair.
All right. Let's get into the topic I didn't think we were going to talk about forever. I thought we were done with this guy after his rap videos that were just absolutely horrible. And it's Darren Waller. And he came onto a podcast. Again, it wasn't us. Darren Waller, we're happy to have you on whenever you want, though. He was on the Side You Don't See podcast. And he said about his retirement, he said, I knew I was retiring when we played in Buffalo. It was a game where it was really controversial because one of the guys held me at the end and they didn't call it. It was in the first quarter of the game. We were running these counter lead running play, and I'm kind of like leading through the hole like I'm a fullback, and the play is working. But I sit down on the sideline after like a drive where we ran like 3 times, and I'm like, what the F? And obviously he didn't say the letter F. He said a word of 4 letters. You can figure out that part. I doing with my life. I'm out here playing fullback. I don't even want to do this spit, but not spit. It rhymes with it. We're trying to keep YouTube from not being unhappy with this year. I don't want to even do this anymore.
Malarkey.
That's insanity. Like, that's absolutely insane. Like, this is before listen, he had a medical issue. We still didn't know the full details on where the ambulance had to come out and he was in the hospital for days. I thought that's what happened. And that where he was like, snap, I can't do this.
That's for sure what I thought was happening.
Yeah, like so he figured it out before that. Like, that's insane. Like, if you were that quick to want to retire, that just tells me that you didn't want to even play that year. By the way, guys, that was October 15th, that game. October 15th. That's insane. So I'm looking here to verify real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Week 6. So you're saying within the first quarter of week 6, they're only 5 weeks into the season, that's when you decided to retire.
Yeah.
Don't tell me your heart was in it when you got to the Giants then. That's really disappointing. And don't get me wrong, I didn't pay the bill. What do you imagine how disappointed it is for Mara and Tish? Like, that's insanity. Like, you decided 5 weeks into the season you didn't want to play anymore. The first quarter of week 6. Wow. Like, I'm really hoping this was like an epiphany moment for him. Because I just feel like he came to the Giants under false pretenses now.
100%. Because, like, if you're thinking 5 weeks into the season, you know it's a long season. You're thinking 5 weeks into the season that you're done, you're going to retire, means you were probably thinking about that beforehand.
Seriously. And it makes you wonder, did the Raiders know?
Could be. Probably like he was on defensive, he should retire.
Yeah.
To get rid of him cheap.
Exactly. Like, they're like, let's get something for him before he retires. That's what I feel like. I feel like they owe us money.
Yeah.
But listen, we all know the story of Darren Waller. He had a rough life. He had, drug issues, all kinds of stuff there. I'm just hoping he's doing better in his life, whatever it is. And listen, I want to kind of take football aside for a minute and say that part of it too, though, because I don't know what's going on in his life. We still don't know fully what happened with the medical incident. Obviously, his marriage crumbled pretty quickly as well. Not to be mean about it by saying crumbled, but it did. Let's be honest. It was like what, a year? Not even a year. Yeah, so I just hope he's in a better place, man. I hope he also stops rapping because he sucks at it. No offense, Darren Waller, but you really aren't a good rapper, man. Do something. Like, seriously, it's a great story he's got in his life. Let's be honest. Like, overcame drug issues, gets onto like practice squads, gets suspended and everything because of these drug issues, gets his life cleaned up, becomes a Pro Bowl tight end out of nowhere. Like, it's a great story. I want to root for the guy. But when he's doing these auto-tune BS rap videos, I can't. I'm sorry.
No.
I can't. Listen. He makes little Wayne and guys like that look like they barely use auto-tune. Like,
I mean, that music video pretty much sounded like it was straight auto-tune.
Yeah, that's where it's like it's because it's that bad. Like T-Pain uses less auto-tune than this man. So, again, hope the best for him. Just stop letting people take your money because you suck at rap. And like I said, hopefully he continues, because I know he's done a lot with it. Hopefully he continues doing what he's been doing as far as helping people with drug issues and, mentoring people, because I have seen a lot in that. I think he deserves a lot of credit for doing that there. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to pay the bills real quick here, and then we're going to pop in and go over some chats real quick here. So any other thoughts you guys have, go for it there. I do see a lot of nice comments about us tonight. I'm in shock. We see a lot of nice comments about us. That's crazy. We're not used to nice comments, especially with Jay in the room. So let's pay the bills real quick before he stops.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the Goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All right, let's get to the comments here. So, Jason, I have lots of videos. Many videos.
Many videos.
Hey, we're consistent. Deb says, fact is, anyone can become a content creator. It's up to the fans to distinguish good from bad. Exactly. But I do think some of the onus also goes on the different platforms as well, because I literally see people post videos sometimes saying Giants traded for so-and-so, and that never happened. Like when you go on, like, I don't even know if that much of it's on there. I don't even go on X or whatever anymore. But like when you see like a bogus post on there, and it's like, that's not true. That's something that I feel like should be on there. You know what I mean? Like even for things like YouTube and all, they should put that on there. Like, this is not true. Like, this is the title, and this title is inaccurate. Jay says most content creators are really bad and unwatchable in my opinion. Goofballs are one of the 4 I watch, and we appreciate you watching as always, man. Deb, agree, Jay. I have 4 that I follow too, and I listen to many. Again, appreciate you as well, Deb, because you two are always with us, and much appreciation to that.
OG Deb.
Exactly. And I gotta say, like, there's probably, I would say, more than 4 that I watch a lot of weird ones that I don't think even people necessarily know about too much. And like, that's why we had, Sneaky on here today, because he does really good stuff as well. And I feel like his stuff doesn't get enough love by the YouTube algorithm and all that kind of stuff there. But we'll have some other people we're probably going to bring on as well that are pretty much in that kind of realm as well, because they do good work and we want to highlight their work they do. Jay says a lot of them are not realistic currently and are hyped out and the actors break thin. Giants Insider is getting like that for me. You love the Giants Insider, Jay. You said they were your favorite content creator. You did. And I'm not even upset you said it. They're good guys. I like their stuff. So, but you did say it. Deb says, I like them. It's a hard time of the year to keep things interesting without being repetitive. Same as some are taking a bit of time off, not the Goofballs, though. Nope. We keep going. We keep going through anything happens. Through rain and sleet and snow. We're like the postman of the Giants content creators over here.
You're right.
Yeah. But not Karl Malone, because he's the bad guy. I heard bad things. Jason, I donate to a lot to Giants Insider. I like them, but I just see people calling for 8 to 10 wins and layoffs. I think it's playoffs, and I think it's ridiculous. Yeah. Again, we're in that same ballpark. I think, time wise. I think, but it's just like I said. I think that it's like. I know you're actually the commenter laughing at. We'll get to that one.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't expect it, though. I think saying it's possible is okay. I think to expect 8 to 10 wins in a playoff bid is ridiculous. But a lot of that, again, I feel like people placate to one side or the other. And people did this with DJ as well. Like, it was either you loved him or you hated him. And we got slack for kind of falling in the middle. But it was the truth. Like, we liked him as a person. We thought he was the best option we had at that time. But he wasn't a good quarterback overall. None of that's BS. None of that's fake.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Deb says, I started watching Goofballs in March of 2023, and I like it the best. Yeah, so we didn't even start, I think, was it late January, early February of 23 is when we started doing the videos.
Yeah.
Before that, we were
right
audio only. So, yeah, so that's how long Deb's been with us. And again, appreciate you very much. Jay says, I think it was the game they fouled him 2 plays in a row and didn't call the second, I think. Yeah, that's the Bills game he started.
Yeah.
Yep. And Jason's, yep, Deb, we are an exclusive club. Exclusive. Back to Giants fan. What's up, man? Said, how's this going, fellas? Got the boo heart from Jays. Says, he says, Waller was dominant, cool guy, too. Sucks how it went down. It really was. Like I said, I feel like there's still a lot we don't know on this, too. Jay says, Rob should do a goofball rap with autotune. It's funny. Like, I've actually been looking at doing a song for the show, actually, too, because we get the 30-second intro. Facebook doesn't like it. It says it's bad for us to use, even though YouTube has no problem with it. So,
yeah, very, very weird.
It is. It's interesting stuff there. Christopher Tony says, hey, guys, and everyone in the chat, can we get the offense to top 20s? And Jay quickly says no, by the way. Listen, top 20s, I don't think that's ridiculous. I mean, I think that's probably right where you're probably expecting to be. We'll probably still be below average, but we're not going to be the seller like we were, hopefully. Like, that's probably around that 20 range is where I'm hoping to be. But that's because I'm hoping for a good season. We could very easily end up in the cellar again. Who knows? It depends a lot on the health of the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I've also said it a few times now, but I think like Atlanta a couple years ago, their defense was pretty on point for that division, but yeah, their offense was sus sometimes. Sometimes put up a lot of points, sometimes they put up no points.
Yeah,
it's kind of something we're probably looking down the barrel at.
Yeah. Jay says, do you think Giants are waiting to make a plan for Dart based on Andrew Thomas's availability? I don't, because I think they recognize they need work on him, and they're not going to just throw him to the fire no matter what, Andrew Thomas or not. I really think they understand that this is an opportunity to truly develop a quarterback, and you're not going to get a second shot. Like, this is it. You mess this up, you're done. And by delaying him, this is going to sound messed up, but it's the truth. By delaying Jaxson Dart, you delayed any issues with your own job. Because you can say, hey, behind the scenes, we're doing great work with this Dart kid. And like I said, I really hope that anything with the outcome of Joe Shane and Brian Dable doesn't affect Jaxson Dart, because I don't want this franchise to ruin him. If he's even ruinable, we'll find out if he's even any good still. But, there's that chance. Christopher Tony says, you guys are by far one of the best Giant content creators on YouTube. Great show as always. Appreciate it, man. Jay says, they bring very realistic takes. I'm telling you, guys are making us blush today. Wow. Oof. I do declare. Jay says, I saw you on a YouTube show with like 7 black dudes last week. True. Okay.
It wasn't Giants content.
It happened. It was Giants content creation, I'm sure. But yeah, I show up at a lot of things because people sometimes put links out or ask me to pop on things. And listen, what else am I doing some nights? If I got plans with the wife or whatever, obviously not. But if I don't got any plans, Why not? What the hell? What else am I doing? Do that or watch TV. You can either be on TV or you can watch the TV. We choose to be the TV.
Heck yeah.
Jay says, I would have shown up if I knew. I think he was talking about Sneaky probably the day because he was. I don't think he was on with Sneaky. Jay says, last time I saw a white guy with that many black Jews was when David Bowie was on Soul Train. Oh my God. I'm not going anywhere. You're trying to get us canceled, Jay. You're trying to get us canceled.
Jeez.
Gosh damn. I said gosh damn. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't believe I said that. We're at a little house of the prairie show here. Gosh dang. Gee willikers. Christopher Tony says, yeah, great breakdown of clips and stories. Love it. Appreciate it, man. He says Nabers' injury might be more than what we're being told. You guys' opinion. We don't think it's that bad necessarily. I think they're just being overly cautious because they know how important he is. But again, as we said before, the only way to get inside information is get inside the building and get the knowledge. None of us are going to have that, unfortunately. We have to kind of read what we can. And what they're telling us is they're just being overly cautious. He's had this injury since college. So you're gonna have to be overly cautious. So, all right. Let's get back to the news here, guys. We got a few things to go over here. We got another ex-Giant in the news here with Isaiah Simmons, who said the Giants lit a fire. And if anybody else has the Doors in their heads and the Doors song in their head there, you're not the only one. I also do.
Yeah. Come on, baby, light my fire.
It's the second Doors reference I had today, actually. Somebody was looking for somebody at my job. They're like, do you see Johnny Morrison? I'm like, I know Jimmy Morrison.
I was in the car with the chauffeur today, and Riders on the Storm was
the
playing.
Car with the chauffeur. You make it sound so luxurious.
Oh,
the chauffeur drive me around the
chauffeur.
city today. One more stroll around Central Park.
Yeah. But the Riders on the Storm, right? When it's like that little like ding in the middle. Are we listening to jazz? I'm like, it's Riders on the Storm.
Yeah. Doors are awesome. Who would have thought an organ in rock music, and it works. Anyway,
yeah.
Back to Isaiah Simmons here. So he's now obviously with the Packers, guys. Those who missed where he signed this offseason, he's with the Packers. He talked to the media there after one of their OTA practices, and it was interesting because towards the end he did mention the Giants specifically, but he talked about his time in the NFL as a whole. I thought his comments were kind of interesting. He said, I think really what I ran into most of my career is everybody wants me to do everything as opposed to letting me get really good at one thing first. I fully believe in Haas, and it's the defensive coordinator, Jeff Hoffey over there, his plan. He's letting me just lock in and learn a small portion first before even think about expanding to anything else. That's something I really appreciate because I never had that opportunity to really just hone in on one position. That's been huge for me. It's something that hasn't been presented to me because my versatility. I feel like it's a bit of a gift and a curse where they want you to do everything. At the end of the day, I'm still a human. Well, yes, congratulations on still being a human, Isaiah Simmons. Obviously, you are. I'm calling BS.
BS.
So he started off his career as a linebacker. He sucked. They moved him to safety. He sucked. They traded him.
Pretty much.
Like, I don't understand the fascination that some people have always had with Isaiah Simmons. I get it. He was a beast in college. Absolute beast in college. Here's why. He was strong enough in college to play linebacker and fast enough in college to play safety. He's neither one in the NFL. He doesn't fit. He has no home. Watch him be great with the Packers, and I'm proven wrong, but I'm just saying. Right. I've been saying that for years. Remember when we traded for him? You and I both said that. Like, he's positionless.
He's used Swiss utility knife, but it's not a sharp knife, and the corkscrew never works.
Yeah. There's people who are multiple position players and people that are positionless. He's positionless.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit anywhere because he's not strong enough to play linebacker. He's not strong enough to be a pass rusher. He's not fast enough to play safety. He doesn't fit anywhere. Now, he can play all those positions, and that's the versatility part where it will keep him playing in the NFL for a while because he can fit a lot of positions. That's a nice bench piece to have, but he's not good at any of them. He's adequate. Like, he's a guy you bring off the bench. Oh, there's an injury at safety. Okay, let's bring Simmons in. Oh, there's an injury over at linebacker. Okay, we can bring Simmons in. Oh, we need to send an extra rusher. We'll just throw Simmons in. Like, he fits a lot of spots off a bench.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. But he's not a starter. He's not a great player. And like I said, I think that the NFL as a whole needs to understand that. Now, we did all say I'm actually very grateful for New York for what they did. They lit a fire under me, and I'm ready to go. That was interesting, I thought, because that's very ambiguous. Like, I don't even know what that means. They're grateful for what they did. What'd they do?
Yeah.
They lit a fire in me. How? Wasn't a match, obviously.
Was he getting traded?
Well, I mean, we didn't sign him, but I mean, remember last year, nobody signed him. We got him late, like to re-sign. Nobody wanted him. You know, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Jay says I went on Packers message boards and nobody gave a poop that they signed him. Yes, because he's not very good. He says also when they signed him, the Giants fans were hyped out of their mind. Yeah, when we traded for him, people thought we got the Cardinals wasted talent. Like they didn't know what to do with the kid. We got this. Wink Martindale's a genius. No, he was never good. We said that from day one. That's why we got him so cheap. He's not that good. Again, great depth piece. I like him as a depth piece on the bench. That's where he needs to be mostly, is the bench. Jason, anywhere you put him for a bit, a good OC will expose him. Very true. And then he said, I heard Simmons was pissed because he had no clue when or how he was going to play. Oh, well.
Yeah, that was his big thing when he came to us.
Yeah, that's been his whole career's been that way. You know, I just feel like even out of college, I was like, I don't see it. And it's exactly for the reasons I listed. He's too slow to play safety, and he's not big enough to play linebacker. So I'm going to say this to him. Pick a position yourself.
Yeah.
Bulk up and play linebacker or speed up and play safety. And it's probably easier to bulk up, to be very frank.
Probably.
Like, he's probably better off as a linebacker. So go hit the gym, bulk up, and stop worrying about what happened in the past with teams you're not even a part of anymore. And go try to make something of your career. Because you're just, right now, you're going to be a career backup, and that's it. Don't get me wrong. You'll make some good money as a career backup. You already made some good money. But if you really want success, that's what you need to do, is pick a position yourself and stop blaming other people. Take accountability, goddammit.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got a couple more things to talk about here. So let's talk about, oh gosh. Deb says Walmart shoppers are patrons of the Golden Corral. It's funny. I don't think we talked about this live on the show. I think we talked about it afterwards, how Rob and I have not, either one of us have been to a Golden Corral in forever. And we found out there's not even a Golden Corral in the entire state of New Jersey. Yet we talk about Golden Corral, I think, every episode.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you got one right by you. Oh, it's permanently closed.
Actually, I just found out mine got closed. Seriously, mine got closed.
The only time I've been to one was in California. The second.
There's one in Tampa. I can still got the one in Tampa, but that's like half an hour from me. I'm sorry. I'm not traveling half an hour for the Golden Corral.
No.
Not going to happen. Now, I did go to Hot Pot last night, though.
It's good stuff.
That was good. It was good stuff. They had crab legs, too. All you can eat crab legs in Hot Pot. Num, 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 num. It's a good way to spend Father's Day. We went to the shooting range in the morning and then went to go do that. So, good day.
Yeah, good day.
Good day. Anyway, let's talk about, I see Jay still in the comments section here. This is his favorite player to talk about. Let's talk about Russell Wilson and how the Giants literally changed the practices for Russell Wilson. That's insanity. The guys even played a single snap for the Giants in the regular season, and we're changing the practices for him. But it's not that bad, actually. It's actually not as bad as it sounds. So the Giants added more 7-on-7 drills to simulate game situations and scenarios at his suggestion. So I mean, listen, the guy's been around for a while. It's not like he's like a rookie, like calling things and trying to change things up and stuff like that. Brian Dable, head coach, said that that's something that Russell really feels good about. And you can do it one of two ways. You can do a half line to see coverages. You can do a full field 7-on-7. We've added some competitive periods where they have to play the situations out. Not that we didn't do that, but we placed a little bit more emphasis on it. And not just a third down situation, but maybe a quarter in a game, time left, score. We've done pretty much, I say, every day we've done a little bit of that. So that's, like I said, that to me is interesting. And I actually give Dable some credit in this because that's a slight change. That's not a changing up everything you do to appease Russell Wilson, which that's what the Broncos got accused of when he got there. But that's a slight change and a move that I think you look at a guy like Russell Wilson, he probably respects the fact that Brian Dable respects him enough to make that change.
Yeah.
And again, the guy's been around for a while. He does know some things. I'm not saying he's the Russell Wilson of the Seattle days. He's definitely not. But he still knows some things. And it not just helps Russell Wilson. It helps all the other quarterbacks as well. And to that extent, it also helps the defense because that's something that Brian Dable also said. He said, you see, it's good for the defense, too, in terms of the back seven, just in terms of how they match routes. Their drop zones, adjustments, you can't do one-on-ones during this time. So 7-on-7 was something we thought we'd add, and we've done quite a bit of that. We've added a number of reps, I would say 2 situational reps, so every year is a little bit different. So, like I said, I definitely think that it's a nice move. And it's going to help at all Russell Wilson get ready, let's go. I always say let it ride, but let's because we need Russell Wilson, guys. Love him or hate him, and I get it. A lot of people don't love him. At least, listen, he wasn't our first choice either. For the record, we wanted Jameis Winston. We said that from the get-go. So we got our first choice just as a backup.
It was my first choice last year, too.
It was both. We were both hitting the pound of the table for him. But, this is who we got. A lot of what's going to happen, is based on how well Russell Wilson plays. So love him or hate him, he's a Giant. We're all going to root him. Even Jay, I see you in the comments saying you talk smack about Russ every single show you go on. Yes, you do. And that's okay. You're allowed to have that opinion. But I know damn well in the end, you're going to root for him when he's on the field in a Giants uniform. And that's what matters. And anything his experience does to help, that's huge. Because we need all the help we can get. We really do. As he said, the wheels are going to fall off by week 6. Well, by then, Darren Waller may decide to unretire. Who knows?
Maybe.
He's been known to make decisions early in the year. All right, guys, let's talk about a second-year Giant coming in that we're really intrigued about here on the show and glad to see that other people seem to be as well. And that's Theo Johnson. Got to see if he's ready for a big year 2. So this is PFSN talking about him. Now, they did an article basically talking about how there's one player on every single roster they wanted to list as a guy they thought would be ready for a potential breakout season. So they said, as mini camps approach, one can't help but speculate which players could break out in the upcoming 25-26 schedule. Whether it's a first-time starter or a young player with upsides, several players usually explode onto the scene each season. So some of them can come out of nowhere, but other future stars can be identified beforehand. Here's a potential breakdown candidates to watch for all 32 NFL teams. So for the New York Giants, they listed Theo Johnson. They said, as a 4th-round rookie in 2024, Theo Johnson started 11 of the 12 games he played before a season-ending injury. Most notably, he caught 26 passes between weeks 5 to 13. The New York Giants value Johnson. He played in over 70% of the offensive snaps every game he played. He's a freak athlete at tight end who should benefit from a new quarterback throwing to him in year 2. All 100% valid points. Now, the only thing I will say negative is, look at my camera's going all crazy. Look at that thing.
Zooming in. What's negative?
Oh, did you just say zoom in? because it zoomed
That's
in
what
on
you
zone
did.
just now. It just zoomed. It's zooming in and it's zooming out. It's doing all. I'm telling you, I'm gonna figure out how to work this new camera here fully. I love the picture on it, but it does all kinds of funky things on its own. It's got AI built into it, like actually in the
Yeah.
camera itself, so it does all kinds of crazy stuff. But anyway, the NFL as a whole has had trouble for how many years now trying to figure out how to pinpoint tight ends. Like of all the ooh, this thing is like tracking me now. Look at this thing. Whoop, whoop.
Hey now.
Hey now. But anyway, like I feel like there's been a situation here where like teams have forever tried to figure out how to go ahead and figure out tight ends in the draft, and they've yet to be able to do it because point blank, it's difficult. You know, like there's not a direct science to figuring out tight ends. How many times you see a guy's 4th, 5th round all of a sudden become stars, and first round guys just get knocked out? Like they're never as good as people think they're going to be. Looking at you, Kyle Pitts.
Oh, hey now.
He was supposed to be the greatest tight end ever, basically, when he came out.
The next, what you call it, Tony Gonzalez.
He's Isaiah Simmons at tight ends. He doesn't. He's too slow to be a receiver. He's too weak to play tight end. That's what he is. So, you know, like I said, I think Theo Johnson, though, is that guy. He is primed and ready to go. It's just a matter of, is he going to go? Because we don't know. I feel like he's the anomaly wrapped up in a secret, smothered in secret sauce. Like we have no clue what to expect out of Theo Johnson. But the biggest point, I think, here is the quarterback part, which really hasn't been talked about in reference to Theo Johnson. We talk about with the receivers, but Theo Johnson gets a chance to play with a much better quarterback than he had last year. Again,
100%.
Russell Wilson, not the greatest quarterback ever, but he is still heads and shoulders, and I don't mean the shampoo, above Daniel Jones. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a big year. And listen, we talked about it at the end of the last season. I said, I'm expecting good things of him the second year. He's going to get better. I think by year like 3, he's going to be a legit, solid, starting, like top 10 tight end, the top 15 tight end in this league. Like I'm not going to go crazy and say he'll be a Pro Bowler and 1,000-yard receiver and all that kind of stuff. But I think he's a guy that as he develops, we can expect, 600 to 800 yards a season out of, become a decent blocker. I don't think that's ridiculous to expect. So, like I said, hopefully I'm right. We'll find out. I usually am, though. I'll tell you.
Sometimes.
I usually am. All right. One last thing. I have an interesting segment for you all because we went to ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT what it thought was going to happen for the 2025 New York Giants. And I got to say, I thought it kept it pretty realistic. And I thought it kind of kept it kind of fairish. Now, it's a little lower on the Giants than we are. But they predicted a record of 6-11. Which I got to say probably gets Dable fired.
Probably.
Unless
you got a lot of analysts saying that. So
yeah. I mean, unless something crazy happens and, Jaxson Dart looks good towards the end of the year or something along those lines. So they said probably finishing 3rd or 4th into the division. They kept some things broad. 3rd or 4th. That's probably where I expect us to be honest.
Yeah.
We said, why 6 wins? Offense has upside with Wilson's experience and explosive Nabers and Tracy Jr. Defense steps up with a revamped front and improved secondary. Why the losses? Brutal early season schedule, tough travel and division matchups. QB transition uncertainty until Dart plays. Strength of schedule likely limits them to 5 to 7 wins. I mean, I think 7 is probably my floor I had us at.
Yeah, I think that's right where I was at.
Yeah, I think like I said, we're a little higher than the Giants, but we're also fans. Let's be very frank. Like,
yeah,
every single year we're hoping for the best. It's hard to go into season like we suck.
Here's another 6 wins this year.
Yeah, like it really is difficult to do that every single year. So
I bet we get 1 of 3.
Maybe we're biased. It's possible. We're fans. We want to root for them. Here's the leaders on offense. They said that for passing yards, Russell Wilson will get between 3,500 and 3,800 yards. That's probably a decent number for him.
Yeah.
Rushing yards. They said Tyrone Tracy Jr. with 900 to 1,000 rushing yards. And I think that's actually pretty accurate too, because while you expect him to improve this year 2, you also got to throw in the fact that Scadaboo's going to take some snaps.
That, and also teams have tape on him now. It's not like he's a new guy with a shiny toy.
But he's also healthy. When he was healthy, he was a beast.
Or was it 4.4 yards, 4.6?
Yeah, so I do think that the number is accurate though for that reason. I would go even a little higher. I'd say 900 to 1,100.
Yeah,
because I do think that's probably my ceiling for him. Because I don't think he'll ever be a 1,500 yard guy or a 1,300 yard guy. I don't think that's in him. I could be wrong. Would love to be wrong. Prove me wrong, Tracy. But I'd be very happy.
I think come on the show.
Yeah, and then come on the show. Exactly. He was on Talking Giants. I was kind of shocked because the Giants absolutely hate when Giants go on players go on content creator shows. Malik Nabers, they said 1,100 to 1,300 yards. I thought that's a little low.
I was about to say, so they're projecting to do a step back.
Either that, they're expecting a more spread offense because obviously we centered everything around Malik Nabers when he was healthy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's also teams just couldn't stop him.
But you could sit there and say he could put up the same numbers this year that he put up last year with less targets and have a more effective year, and that's still improvement.
Yeah, he may have more yards with less targets because he's got better quarterback play.
It's very possible. I mean, he might get more deep balls thrown his way. That's for damn sure with Russell Wilson.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to chuck the rock at him after 3 yards.
And I think they're probably trying to keep it realistic because what do you do? Say 1,400, 1,500 yards?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be a lot of yards, guys. That's like unheard of, basically. But again, he's a second-year player. I don't think it's impossible. I would notch that up a little bit and say 1,100 to like 1,400 yards.
Yeah.
On defense, they have Brian Burns as the leader in sacks at 12, which would be a career high for him. I would definitely sign up for that. Sign me up. Let's go.
Yeah, it may be a little zealous, a little ambitious.
They also gave Dexter Lawrence 8, which I think, considering the tear he was on before the injury last year, if he's healthy, that's reasonable. Yeah, 9.5 sacks, I think, last year?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, and that, again, he missed like a quarter of the year. So, I mean, that's definitely realistic there. Tackles. Micah McFadden, they had leading us in tackles at 110. I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to say Bobby Okereke.
Yeah.
And not just because he's probably the most obvious one. Micah McFadden, I think, is going to lose some snaps to Abdul Carter.
Very fair to say.
I do think that's going to happen. So
I do, sir.
Good day, sir. Oh, we got a spammer. I was trying to see. I think we have to end this Kick thing. No one's really watching it on Kick, and we get all kinds of spammers here. So I'm going to refresh this real quick just to get rid of the spammer. So,
bye, spam.
Bye, spam. I had spam yesterday at Hot Pot, actually. Spam. Anyway, I think Bobby Okereke is probably going to be the guy that you would think would lead in the tackles. I mean, again, McFadden, I think, is going to lose snaps to Carter. And I think Okereke's already proven he's a tackling machine when he's healthy. He just wasn't healthy last year. So I do think that's where I'm looking at there. Now, interceptions. They said Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo, so both the two guys we added at this offseason, 2 to 4 picks apiece. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but that like doubles our interceptions for last year. I was
about to say it's sad because those are low numbers, but at the same time, it's kind of high.
I don't think that's that bad. If we get 3 or 4, I'll be 2 or 2, I guess. But if we get 3 or 4 interceptions at each of those guys, that's a decent number.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It's not low. Can't expect them to get double digits. Should we get 10? Like, I'd be very happy. Don't get me wrong, but that's not exactly realistic. So, like I said, interesting because I think it actually gave a lot of legitimate statements there. This is why AI is going to take us down and take our jobs from us eventually.
And it's going to come in with a voice like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes. I told you I'd be back.
And I, for one, welcome our new overlords.
Yeah. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
It's crazy this year. All right, let's get to a couple of the comments here besides the spam one. Got Ryan's Big Blue Podcast. What's up, man? He says, welcome up, guys, and Jay Ferris. What about Deb? Can't leave Deb out. I mean, and the other like 30, 40 people that are watching that are quiet. Come on, join the party, people.
We see you out there.
We can see the numbers. We know where you're at. You know what it is? A lot. It's funny because we get a lot of people on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, too. And I don't know. I know they can do it. I don't think it's as easy because I think some of them are in spaces, some of them are on the actual page, so it's not as easy to the comments and all as it is on YouTube. That's why we always tell people YouTube is definitely the best way to watch the show. YouTube, Jay says, Ryan coming strong because he kissed your butt, but he's saying hi to you specifically. I'm on to you. He says Ryan is the Isaiah Simmons of content creators. Great upside. Wow.
He's seeing people not on their podcast. It's amazing.
And Ryan says, try to grow and keep going. Yeah, there we go. This is Bill's gonna fall off by week 6. He said, yeah, these goofballs grow every week. Vast growth. I know what he means, by the way. He doesn't mean vast growth in views or anything like that. He means we're fat. I'm on to you, Jay. I'm on to you, Jay. Too many Cracker Barrel jokes.
Right, more to come.
I want to see a lot more Theo Johnson this season. Damn straight. Russ with no legs is much better. Yeah, that's the scary part. Russ with no legs is much better than anybody we've had a quarterback the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Now, for the record, he does actually have legs. He's just saying he's not going to be mobile because he's not the same mobility he used to have. Not that he's actually lost his legs.
You sure about that? Lieutenant Dan.
I said, maybe wrong. Lieutenant Dan. Oh, my gosh.
Are you going to the Golden Corral, Lieutenant Dan?
Shrimp stew, shrimp scampi at the Golden Corral. Jay says, why do all the early pick tight ends suck and all the good ones are late rounders? Again, I don't know. They can't figure it out. I think a lot of this is, honestly, colleges don't know how to use tight ends. And I think that's a lot of the issue. It's hard to evaluate somebody when they're not being used right in college. Because you hear all the time, tell me Travis Kelce wasn't talented in Cincinnati.
He was. You didn't see him how to play like he does now.
I'm just saying, like, that's, look at a guy like Isaiah Likely over in, Baltimore, who's a young one that's kind of taken hold and taken Mark Andrews' job almost away from him, who's a really good tight end as well. And he's a guy that from Coastal Carolina. It's not just the NFL that has trouble scouting tight ends. Just saying, So, Jay says 6-11 be pretty decent. 6 wins, but if young players break out dark's good, I'll take any day. Yeah, I mean, honestly, again, that's what this whole year is about. Developing these young players. But I think 6 wins would be hard to swallow because of the additions on defense and that kind of stuff. Be hard to swallow. Yeah. Deb says it will matter if the losses are close when playing a good team and not blowouts. Yes, honestly, if we're holding our own against some of these teams and never embarrassing ourselves, that will definitely matter. But we'll see. It depends on how patient John Mara is. Ryan's Big Blue Podcast says hearing the way New York Giants wide receivers like Slayton and Wandale talk about Russ is great because they're so used to Jones they didn't realize what a competent quarterback is like. That's true, but at the same point, guys, Slayton, first off, will talk positive about anybody in the Giants locker room. And I give him credit for that. That's what you should do as a teammate. That's not a knock on him by any stretch of the imagination. But he is not a guy who will. I mean, he wouldn't talk trash about Daniel Jones. That was his brother. That was his bro. He talks so great about him. Again, he should. I give him credit for it. But I wouldn't consider him a legitimate litmus test on the locker room. That's for sure. Jay says, the irony. Drew getting annoyed by a spammer. He says, why does Daniel Jones make 50% more than Russ if he's such a big improvement? Because people think the Giants messed up Daniel Jones and there's hope. That's what it boils down to. Russell Wilson, at this point in his career, is a 1-year rental hired gun.
Yep.
That's the difference.
When he can.
They don't know what we know about Daniel Jones. That's what it is.
We've seen the footage.
Yeah. He says, so Russ has no hope. To be a great quarterback? No. His best hope is to be an average quarterback. And then we develop.
I was going to say, what you're doing with Russ is you're literally taking him for his mind and his experience.
Yes. We're here for your mind, not your body.
Yeah.
Just like I used to say at the bar when I was single. Worked all the time. All right, guys. We're going to be back again for you guys Wednesday night, of course, as always, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, we are live on YouTube, the preferred platform, Facebook, X/Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, Kick, Twitch, and my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms there. It drops about 5 in the morning there, so it's just in time for that morning ride to work, making you maybe hate your ride a little bit more. And with
These
that, of course, on
Goofballs.
Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. Again, guys, appreciate all you guys for watching here today and listening, and hopefully also helping spread the word about the show there. As always, Giant fans, go G-Man! Go G-Man! G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm